What's up, everybody? Co-host Sean here. It's going to be a lowdown on what this episode's about. On this episode, we are talking AI and the future of war. We got AI in the Ukrainian war. We got AI making videos. We got AI just doing all AI things. What's it going to look like? I think kind of scary, but also kind of cool. We're talking consensual non-monogamy. What is it? We're not too sure, but we're going to talk about it. Give us your thoughts. We're talking about the NBA All-Star Game. What's the point? Honestly, someone tell me, what's the point? These guys make so much money. Really? Just put me in. Put me in, coach. We're talking about Buzzfeed selling Complex for a lot less money than what we all thought. So much less that I don't even know how much it is, but we're talking it. And finally, we're talking about those doo-doo butter shoes that Trump put out at Sneakercon. If any of you have them, just unfollow us. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment on our videos, on our posts. Find us on TikTok. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Tinder at Almost Never Pod. We are the hottest of the hot. You can also email us if you're into that thing, almostneverpod@gmail.com. Please don't sign us up for, the Democratic convention. We don't need that. Our DSPs are up to date. So if you don't like YouTube and you just want to listen to on Spotify or Apple, give them your money and check us out. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the episode.
That burn is hard, right?
Burn's hard, and then...
You didn't like the one that...
Is that the one you put on the playlist, Burn?
Yeah, I put burn.
That one was good. I liked it. It sounded like Kanye. Was not mad at it.
Yeah, I like it.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Welcome to the Almost Never podcast, the most illustrious podcast that is currently recording on a Sunday morning in this particular neighborhood in Koreatown in Los Angeles. The most illustrious. And I'm joined by my good friends, Sean Corey Pickering, Trey Ross, to my right. Sean Corey Pickering.
Wait, to your right.
To my right.
Yeah.
To my right.
That's me. I'm to your right.
Sean Corey Pickering.
Why are you saying my name so many times?
At Sean Corey Pickering on Instagram.
It's good.
The one man you want to talk to when sometimes you just need to be asked, how does that make you feel? And Sean, how are you feeling? How's your week? How's your head? Sean Corey Pickering.
I'm good. Sorry, I was that dude Brian Johnson. I just tweet of his, and I just read the top, and it kind of took me off topic. I'll say it later. It's kind of wild. It was a good week. I got to go take my dad to the opening game for LAFC yesterday. I blessed him with a jersey.
Ooh, Vamos Black and
You
Gold.
steal it?
No.
That's good.
Yeah.
Allegedly bought it.
I don't necessarily steal things. I take things that I believe I've already paid for.
With
like
your
that.
blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's my groceries.
Yeah.
Are from blood, sweat, and tears.
But yeah, it was a good game. We won. And it's cool to do stuff with your pops when you can, kind of thing.
Pops.
Yeah, so it was cool. Yeah, other than that, it was relatively a pretty, I'd say, freaking quick week went by. And nothing like outstanding. I don't think really stood out.
Nothing Gap Band. Outstanding.
What?
Outstanding.
I don't know it.
That's a reference.
don't know it?
95% people. You
Um,
probably don't
be
even know
black.
Gap Band.
But I did listen to all of the Kanye album, and it's all right. Definitely, if you start on song 7, it's a complete different album. So if you haven't heard it yet, I would suggest you listen to 7 forward and then go back and listen to 1 through 6.
Makes sense that way.
It does make way more sense that way. The 2 songs I think were the best for me was Burn, which and Do It.
I told you both those
two.
two songs in John.
That's why I was like, if you start on
like,
7, you're like,
no.
wow, this is a really good album. Right
I tried
after
to
that.
even downplay when I told you the sample. You're like, so they just rapped over Back That Ass Up. I was like, well, kind of, but they
Kind of,
flipped
but
it.
they yeah, it's not the same.
Flipped it and reversed it.
Also, all the songs that have majority of Ty Dolla, I like.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that have more Kanye are not hot. And I really, it's not like I was just listening to it, and it's honestly like, I think his voice really worked for Graduation, College Dropout, everything like that, even all the way up to Beautiful Dark. But now it's like,
because his production's crazy.
I'm just burned out on that same like, like he's kind of like, but the production's pretty cool. They do some pretty cool stuff on it.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was just like, how could you not?
I didn't like the song with Cardi though. Really?
No, it's just kind of
like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I definitely don't give the album more than like a 6.5.
That's modest. That's about what it should be.
Yeah.
Like. But the good like burn is like if you heard a Ty Dolla EP of those type of music too.
I have a question for you guys, being sneaker heads that you both are. This is completely unrelated to music, but it's related to going to the soccer game the other day. When is it okay to wear two different brands for like a shirt that doesn't match your shoes?
You're gonna say because like the kits are made by Adidas and a lot of the merch is made by Adidas. I think they do all of MLS.
Yeah.
I think that's fine, but I think it's egregious if you're wearing like Adidas track pants with like Nikes. It's mostly Nike, Adidas, not so much like New Balance or whatever. But it's like when you have a big logo there and you have a big logo there, like a big Nike sweatshirt with a swoosh, and then you wear like some Adidas or something. I feel like it's just those two mixing. Like, I generally try not to, but like I'll mix like New Balances with like a Reebok sweatshirt or something. Like I'm not.
It's just checks and stripes.
It really is, and that's what I was thinking. Because like I'm wearing New Balances today with like the Adidas top specifically, kind of like for this question actually. But I saw a lot of people that were wearing New Balances. And I was like, oh, I don't judge you the same way. Like, it's kind of like...
To me, it's, I guess, if you're wearing the whole...
Get up.
Mm-hmm. So if it's like how you were saying, the Adidas tracksuit, then you better be having the shell toes on first or any other Adidas. You know what I mean? So if you have, like, say, a Nike Tech on, you better have some...
Yeah.
If you're a brand ambassador, you don't be mixing those two.
You know what I mean?
Side follow-up question, and I'm done. When you see somebody with blatant false, like fake, like shirt or shoes or anything like that.
What do you mean fake?
Like, what is it? Like a knockoff? Because you know how like in the front of like all like sports games they sell you like the other jerseys
instead of Nike it says Nike.
Well, I mean it's Nike.
It still says
but
Nike, but it'll be printed a little askew,
and the colors are just completely off. Like if you went to like a Lakers game, one would be Lakers yellow, and then the other one would be like mustard. And you'd be like,
I don't really mind that too much because a lot of like sports merchandise in general, it's like LAFC does have some cool stuff, but they're kind of like not the drippiest apparel you can get.
It's not drippy, and to me, those are fine. Say like the championship ones when it's like the collage of all the players. Yeah. You could buy the bootleg one.
Yeah,
that's
those are actually cooler sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But you can't just go and get like, say for like LAFC, just the LAFC with the wings because it's gonna look.
I'm speaking specifically jerseys, like specifically jerseys.
I think if you pay a lot for the knockoff, no one can tell. So.
Like it doesn't matter to me, but I did notice at the game, like everyone who had a knockoff jersey had knockoff shoes, and I just thought it was like, and I'm not hating because like by all means, there's a lot of pressure on trying to be cool, look cool. How much money do you have? Like, do you fit in? Everything like that. But I was like sitting there, and I would see a group of people with all authentics, and then they have like their one friend, and I'm like. Damn, none of y'all could just like hook your homie up with like the authentic.
Not everybody has great friends like us, so you know.
Because I see those families, I'm like, you guys have every single jersey of every single season. How do you do this?
You see some families that are like laced up, like they get the babies with like the J's and stuff. I'm like, sometimes when I see them, I saw a guy at the farmer's market the other day. Shout out Larchmont. I was like, dude, nice job with the J4s on your kid. Those are tight. They're actually cooler than his, but
yeah,
good job.
Kids and
parenting.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
Zach De La Roque was there.
That's dope.
Yeah, I was like, wow, he came out. I didn't think he came out.
La raza.
Yeah. Anyway,
Trey Ross at Doja the Producer. A man whose love for hot sauce and hot tracks is only surpassed by his penchant for hot takes. How are you doing? How's your week?
It's been a good week. Been helping out the
pretty
homies.
funny.
Like I said, Alex is making the company some stuff, so had to get all that squared away. It really sucks relaying old people messages to young people, and just it's your friend. So I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, but this feels so old and anal. So he had to do like 50 revisions, but it wasn't hard revisions. It's literally just the colors.
Oh, it wasn't like too big, too small.
No. That
Make
was
it
all straight off the bat. It was just like, he did that so quick. Let me see it on a tan hat.
Oh yeah.
Let me see it in construction orange.
Wasn't it like mock-ups? Like, did he do mock-ups, or did he actually
did mock-ups.
make? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were just all mock-ups. So that's why I wasn't caring, because I knew he just whipped
just
it up.
like
Exactly.
copy,
And then
paste,
my
change.
boss, like after we finalized it, he was just like, tell your homie to put like extra $50 on it. I was like, for what? He's like, because Alan's, I'm sorry. But
Almost caught himself.
yeah, I'll believe it. But other than that, no. And then Ryan, I'm gonna rebuild your bike, so I pray for you.
Once it's done, I hope it holds up.
Yeah,
Pray for you after he gets
Yeah.
repaired.
I was planning on not telling him until he's like ridden it, because he assumes my boss is gonna do it.
So I did that.
But my boss is gonna baby me through it, because he was like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna do this one." I was like, "Appreciate it." But other than that, finished the bike. Bought some 3-piece cranks yesterday. Put those in.
Nice.
Oh, the actual like the
bike, the
BMX.
bicicleta, yeah, the BMX.
bicicleta.
So all I need is pedals, and that baby's ready to roll. Then I'm gonna do the mini bikes, and then other than that, it's been productive. It's been good.
You got to join a mini bike gang once you get that thing up.
I kind of want to buy a Harley.
You've been saying that.
Yeah,
a Hardley or a Harley.
I have the Harley, so I need to bump it up. There's a Harley at my job, actually, and it's just been sitting there.
Same
for
one.
sale.
You've been wanting it.
That's the
Been
one I
eyeing
want.
you.
It's the one. It's the Sportster 48. So it's got the fat tires. It's like the one I want. 1200 cc.
Shout out Bill. Talk to Bill. You know he'll like steer you right.
So Bill,
You're gonna be riding with him in no time.
I know. And since Ryan came to the shop, he saw it. He's like, dude. But yeah, I've been thinking about getting a. Yeah, that's her.
Dude.
Yep, but in black, all black.
What's stopping you from pulling the trigger?
Nothing really, because it's already fairly cheap, and I'm just like toying with it. But I'm just like, dude, I've never really been on a bike that big.
What's insurance like? That's like a smaller.
It's a small bike, but it's 1200 cc.
It's
yeah.
more so than like a. It's more so than like a street bike or like a
Yeah, it's
Sport bike or
cruiser.
something.
So and it kind of looks like a bobber. That's why I like them. Like, and I've always liked that one, because the
do like a
regular
bobber.
Sportster from Harley, it's not like, it doesn't have the fat front tire. It's not as fat, and the rear isn't as fat either.
If somebody didn't know what a bobber was, how would you define?
I would say it's kind of like a bobber is. I guess the adverse of a chopper. It's really short and stubby. They would versus raked out. So
A long
basically, like a frame is a frame. You know what I mean? And they would elongate or shorten, like risers on the handlebars or the forks, or try to pitch things differently. So
You say chopped and screwed, perhaps?
yeah, but that one you're kind of, as shown as, you're kind of riding. I guess you're kind of comfortable. You're sitting back a little bit on
Is
that
it because
bike.
you can bob and weave out?
Why they would call it a bobber? Because the bobber to me is like the beefed up cafe racer, and the cafe racer you're hunched over.
I always
in
thought
the
like,
front.
yeah, it's like the
It's the
clipped,
smaller
handlebars and
handlebars.
shit.
Exactly. I think that's why
The
it's-
overall kind of thing is like a little more compact. It's
And I
not-
just really like the way because I'm smaller, so I can't be on like a freaking
correct us, Bill.
a hog.
I hate
So-
my-
You're
fucking
the same.
guy.
You're the same height as Bill, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could.
I mean, but his are like choppers.
Oh,
so
I know.
they're thin but raked out. Like I can't be on like a big old like hog.
Be whatever you want. You know.
I know, right?
Wouldn't be the
you
first
see your
time you were
second-
on a big old hog, so won't
this
be
week
allowed.
at least.
This guy,
How much?
Okay, so that's the kicker. I would just buy it right now if she would sell it to me for $7, but the lowest she wants to go is $8, and she really wants to get like way more. No,
You want?
she,
Can
she
you
wants
do like
11.
7 cash?
I want to do 7 cash.
If you say you should just do like
No, but that's the kicker, because the bike was bought in 22, brand new for 17.
But it got laid down, didn't it?
We fixed it, and it only has 600 miles on it.
So it's brand new.
It's brand new. It's a brand new tank. Everything that got scraped up is
brand new.
Brand new.
75 Honda cash.
But that's the kicker. So her son bought the bike for like 16 or 17, made one payment on it, didn't pay anything else on it.
Yeah.
So when they found out, she just paid it off so she could have the title. So she's already in the whole like 16 grand.
You put 1,000 on it.
So she wants to get as much as
possible.
And I feel bad just being like, oh, 7 grand.
What about like,
yeah, I was like looking at the price. It's like, it's definitely more.
But like, you know,
definitely more.
Like you can start low and be like,
yeah.
hey.
So right now she's like hurting. She's like, not hurting, but she's like, I will not go lower than 8 grand, and I'll pull the trigger at 7. So that's really like, because no one's biting. My boss, it's been sitting in our shop for fucking 4 months.
Nobody's advertising it or anything.
He advertised it, and people hitting him up and like, oh,
for 8 grand. It's advertised for that much, or like 11?
Like 10. And people are still like, no. And he's like, it's literally 600 miles on it.
That's crazy.
Did the son lay it down?
He rode it twice, laid it down, broke his ankle.
No, that'll do it. Pulled a John on it.
And it wasn't even like a crazy, like, he literally just like was going like 20 and then like fell over.
Dang.
Isn't
that like Taylor on the
Vespa?
But yeah, no. How you been? How was your week?
My week is good. It went by pretty quick.
The man, the myth, the legend himself, the artiste.
At Dearest Red on Instagram. Yours truly, Josh Manling.
Born year of the rat.
Year of the rat. A rat himself. Week went by fast. Marlene got back from her shoot in Texas.
Yes.
That looked pretty cool. Excited to see the finished project. Went to Courtney's sister. Shout out Courtney. Shout out Katie. You've met Katie. You met her at the thing. You've met her before.
Multiple times.
She's moving up to Tacoma, Washington.
I saw she was moving. That's crazy.
That's dope.
She met a boo, like on the apps or something.
Christian Mingle?
I think so.
Yeah.
And
she's super religious, right?
they're just going up there because she's like I think she just got a job, but she was like looking for something and she's wondering her next steps. And
she got a job up
met
there,
a dude. It's a remote.
Oh, okay.
Not trying to put her life on blast or put much out there, so you don't have to answer it, or you might not know it. But how long have they known? Is it like they just met now?
3-4 months.
We're old, Sean. We got to expedite the process.
But I'm like, did they've been chatting? They've met in person. I think once he came down here.
Okay.
Maybe she went up there. I don't know, but
does she have a Find My Friend tag? Does she have an air tag on?
Yeah, like I'm just like I just gotta talk to Courtney. Real
she
quick.
microchipped.
Put in your shoe. No, that will come out to steal your shoes.
We got. But he's Filipino.
Oh,
he's from the Philippines. I'm always wary of Filipinos. I think, like, as a Filipino,
you can hear it in your voice.
I was trying to just let it slide.
We're like raised by my parents instilled this thing like we trust white people more than other Filipinos. There's like a complex about it because it's like they're like the shadiest people that will like maneuver their way into your family. Like my uncle, he was sick, like he was dying essentially. And like this long lost relative came into his life like 6 months before like he actually passed, and she was like worming her way, trying to take care of him. But he's like, and then like he went to the hospital once. Whoa. Like he got really like he had some sort of like he got really sick, and he was in the hospital for like a week. And I would just visit him every day, and he was like, this fucking girl, I don't trust her. She just wants to get in the will, but she's not getting shit. And he made my mom the executor of his will, which was a pain in the ass. But she did it, and my mom, like, she wasn't in the will, like this relative that sneaked her way in. And, but my mom, she's so nice and stuff. And like my uncle, he was like cash poor, but he had all these like assets, properties and stuff. He ended up like, he had, I don't know, like 5, 6, 7 properties. He had this one up in Glassell Park. He owned a whole hill and everything on it.
Wow.
And he sold those, and he made a scholarship to go to Juilliard, because I didn't even know until after he died that he went to Juilliard.
Whoa.
But he made a scholarship fund for people to go to Juilliard.
Damn.
for just kids who can't afford to go to Juilliard. So
actually a scholarship fund.
yeah,
So-
and then but okay, so my mom was like, okay, well, like you're not in the will, but like you can live on this property until we sell it for free. But then like a lawyer was saying that
In California, it's
we
weird.
can't sell this while somebody's living in it, while somebody's inhabiting it. So had to kick her out, and she sued my mom for like 35 G's.
What?
And I was like, do you need me to do something? Like I could drive
Break some legs.
But then my mom, I don't know how much, she just like paid her off and just like go away forever, like disappear. And so it's like it's obviously something that we're kind of like instilled with, this distrust of other Filipinos. But then things happen where it proves this thing right, and it's like I don't trust these people as far as I can throw them. Unless I grew up with them, I have an air of distrust about them. But I don't even know where they came. Oh yeah, Katie's guy. He from Philippines. Sorry if I'm airing this out, Katie. We can edit it, but we won't.
I like that because we will bleep out stuff. But
I don't
this
even know
isn't
his
bad.
name.
This
I don't
isn't
even know his
bad,
name. But he came over here, joined the Navy, I believe, to get health insurance and stuff like that. And something happened. Like he was married, but then she passed away, and
Oh, damn.
they met. But I don't know. Katie's a smart girl. I trust that she's like the good kind of naive, whereas I'm jaded and I think the world is a terrible place because it is.
The good kind of naive. Huh?
I try and give people the benefit of the doubt, but I think she tries to see the good in people. Like I'm like,
I like
you're
to
good.
See it. I like to see the good and evil.
You're good until
Let
you
know
prove
what
me
you're working
wrong.
with.
But like she's like, I think she looks at
Yeah,
it like
no,
more
so-
like
yeah.
a wholesome outlook and stuff. But yeah, she had a little gathering over on the west side in this brewery. Went out there, and she the next day, yesterday, she's driving up to fucking Tacoma.
yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday.
Damn.
Like that.
Driving up, it's like, and she's not planning to
It's a
stay anywhere in
beautiful
between. It's
drive.
like a 20,
Oh, she's not gonna.
20-hour drive, 16, 20 hours.
She's gonna do
She's
it
going straight up.
That's.
Yeah, good luck.
I mean,
I
it's
think
like-
she should almost be there by now,
It's such a beautiful drive. It's a bummer to have to do it like
unless
that.
it's raining. It's still beautiful.
It's still gorgeous.
Yeah.
But there's so much to see on the way up from California to Washington. Oh, thank you. Saved my life.
Yeah, I
Close
did the drive down from like Yakima to Portland once, and it was beautiful. Like I was so tired, but I was just like, I've never seen forests
yeah.
so dense and like lush. And it's like it starts like 5 feet from the highway, and it's like, this is amazing. And I was and it was raining, so it's like, yeah, it's beautiful. It just seems a little treacherous if you're not used to it.
Things stay lush there.
And then yesterday went to Marlene's friend Lauren's birthday party. It was shout out Lauren. It was I thought it was like a leopard theme, but it was like anything that started with L was the theme. So I went like I got did leopard and leather. Like I got this
Nice.
I got this like, I guess you could say it's kind of like a bondage harness.
Were you leather daddy?
Kind of leather daddy. I thought like, I was like, oh, you know, she's got a bunch of like LGBTQ friends and stuff, so it's gonna be pretty. Like I was like definitely the more me and Marlene. She had like a little collar that said like "good girl" on it. Definitely more the risque outfits. People were like lumberjacks and Luigi and like Little Red Riding Hood, and I was like leather daddy. It was low key leather daddy though, but you know.
Do you ever watch Arrested Development?
Oh yeah,
You know,
those early seasons were great.
There's like season 1 where the dude
Tobias.
Tobias is trying to with Maybe he's trying to bond with the leather. I just
Then he
pictured
became a
that.
never nude.
Yeah. I'm a never nude. Serious. You don't think I know how serious this
And then
is?
John Michael was wearing the muscle suit.
Yeah. I just love when he's like when Tobias was like, don't you understand why I wear these shorts? And he's like, no, actually I don't. I would love to talk to him more about
He
that.
tried to join the Blue Man Group.
Oh yeah.
The show was great.
It just
great.
stayed like that. When they brought it back, it wasn't.
It
very
wasn't
funny.
good.
It wasn't
No,
very funny.
it
They were
wasn't
trying
good.
too hard. I
It's
think.
really hard to bring something back like that, I find, because you're also connecting with people at a certain time, and like it's like the
Humor's
year,
different.
the society, everything that's going on right then. The fact that like those actors weren't big, no one knew really.
Yeah,
too
that was
much-
like Michael Cera. That was his jump.
Yeah, and I'm like, then as soon as you like people get larger, it's like, oh, now you start thinking different of them and stuff like that. Mm-hmm.
I learned the other day I'm not a Ross.
What are you?
Well, I'm a Ross, but
Thanks.
Good.
but I'm
good.
not
I was
really.
on the edge of my seat.
No, my dad's dad, changed his name
Pool
in
filler.
the military
To Ross?
to Ross.
What was it before?
Your dad.
Rawls.
Rawls. I wonder
Trey
why he changed
Rawls.
his
Ooh,
name.
sounds country.
I asked
kinda
my
like
dad,
that.
and he said it's from like Florida. He said he had a dispute with his dad, so when he got into the military,
Didn't want to be like,
Damn.
oh, to break off the family name like that.
So you're like me. You don't really have the real last name of your. That's crazy.
But that's why it's crazy on my mom's side because you can go to Georgia and the name Applebee is like
Yeah,
My
everywhere.
restaurants.
they know it. They're like, "Oh, you." Some
yeah.
lady looked at me. She's like, "You Applebee, huh?"
You
I was
look
like, "Well, I
just
mean,
like
I
your
guess so."
uncle.
Exactly.
I seen a picture of him over at Georgia. Was it Georgia U? Or no, it's
Yeah,
Is that it?
Georgia
Athens?
University.
Athens? That's it. Yeah.
That's where it is, but it's Georgia University.
I just said a city.
That's the
Which
right
I-
one.
Well, so like if you you had a partner and you guys had a kid, would it take like 3 names? Like, you know, your partners. I think that'd be funny, but you
You're
couldn't
talking
fit
to
it
me?
on. You couldn't fit it on any like app. Like
I wouldn't give my kid my last name.
no.
No, I'm kinder than that. I show compassion to that child.
I don't know. Corey's cool.
You have a-
Pickering's cool.
it's-
No,
last
it's a fact. Yeah, if I had,
Would you just choose one?
no,
he has to give them both.
no. That's why I like those. Those are my last names. If it was a kid,
Dude, if like you married a Smith Corey Pickering.
I married a Smith. I don't know if I could let my kids have a last name Smith though.
I got to try to make a fourth, but
Then
it
you
would
would
be
do
like
Corey Pickering, right?
Well, I'd be Corey Pickering, but I don't know if they are because the thing is with
Just meld them
names,
all together.
anybody, I assume, anybody that has a last name that's hyphenated, like their records everywhere, everywhere they go, from school to government, anything like that, they're all fucked. Like it's like I've been booked under 4 different names, like legit different names.
Booked as in like
the government gave me a middle name because I don't have one.
What's your middle?
I don't even know. I just know
Is
that.
it a leather?
Yeah,
Sometimes they just give letters. That's
they
it.
gave me a letter.
Yeah, what's your
What's
letter?
your letter?
E.
Ruben E. Ross, Edward
Eubanks.
Edvin. Eubanks is
E.
kind of cool.
I'm just like, okay, they just made some shit up. Whatever.
Ewing.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, Ruben Ewing. No, if I had a kid, I'd have to sneak a cool first name, and then just to make him a fourth, then their middle name would have to be Ruben Ross the fourth. So they would still be a Ruben Ross.
If
Oh,
it's-
so you're just you. Oh yeah, okay.
do
Well, I do
Because you can
this
put
is
whatever you
interesting
want
with,
on the.
what if
birth-
it's a girl?
Oh, then
Rubina.
But girls don't get the junior.
No, yeah, no,
Well, they
that's
don't
what I'm
get the
saying. So
third
it
or
wouldn't
anything
be.
like that, so.
Yeah, it would be if I had a son. It would be.
Why is that?
I don't know. But in some Hispanic
Patriarchy.
cultures, they do that though. Like,
Well, they
you do.
keep. They have like they only. It's like one last name, but 18 middle name scenarios.
Exactly. So it's a
Yeah.
little different. But no, yeah, if I had a son, it would be like I'd let, I guess, the mom choose the first name because I'd be like, he has to be the fourth, and I'm sneaking this one in there just for lineage because it's not technically, but you choose the first name. That's all you.
We're not gonna give you a first name till you're 5, and you can choose it for yourself.
But I think that would be cool
Batman.
too because there's no cool name for 4 anyway. Because my dad does go by Junior. I go by-
Quad?
Exactly.
Quav. Quiv.
Quattro.
Quattro.
Or Tro. Tro's a cool
Bro, so
Short
it's
to
a
Trey.
cool way he could have two cool. He could have a cool first name,
Tro's
or
are
he could
bad
go
things.
by the fourth and could have So hey, maybe
Maybe he calls himself 4.
that would be hard.
4s.
I was thinking about just going by 3, but then Chance the Rapper.
When were you thinking about going by 3?
Almost never.
When was this?
When I was an artist, when I was thinking of artist names.
Now he's just a big sellout.
yeah. When I was trying to have some integrity.
Back in the day when he was a backpacker. He just hung on to the name 3.
Yeah, no.
Well, speaking of nostalgia, and this is from last week though. Is the NBA All-Star Game, is that pointless?
I think it's played out. No pun intended.
There was pun
That was like
intended. You did
100%.
arm motion.
Yeah, that,
Extremely pun intended.
it's grotesquely.
I think there was intention from the start.
Yeah. That was I mean, like, oof. Yeah, it's
bad. I want to ban Luca. Like I said, Luca and Joker, you're banned. You don't even try enough to play in the All-Star game, so you're banned.
But what's the point of it? Is because
no point.
Was the point at one time you were watching the best of the best compete at a high level, and that was entertaining, and that was
okay. So truly, when I think they conceived it, it was. You got to remember, it's a different era. You didn't have these super teams, so it was the rare time you're seeing all these players on the court.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah,
like,
one if that one team had a star.
If that. So you know what I mean? It was like now you're seeing the one time it's basically beside the Olympics, you get to see all the hitters on the court, which now it's like every game there's 6 hitters.
Yeah.
So it's like they haven't acquiesced to the way that the game is played now. So I think that's where they're in their growing pains right now.
There's nothing that you get for it though.
Bragging rights.
Like there's no like I mean, there's not even a buy-in for the bragging rights.
It's not even a cool trophy.
No, I guess it's all in hindsight, realistically, because even for the old dudes, it's like when you look at their record, it's like, champ, 7-time All-Star, 7-time All-Defense. You know what I mean? So those stats will be relevant once they're out of the league.
What's more important on your stat sheet? You won the in-season tournament, or you're an All-Star?
Of the finals?
Hey, now.
No, like you're an NBA All-Star for the season. You're not like you made the All-Star teams. Right?
Oh, well, I mean, to be honest, those are 2 complete different ones because one's individual.
Well, also, it's a fan voted thing.
Isn't an All-Star mean though that you get max?
Yeah, you get.
there has to do something with your.
So it's more important to be an All-Star than to win the end game.
Well, the end game is obviously new. No one cares about this yet.
Yeah,
they're trying to make people care, but I give Adam Silver credit because. He looks
like an alien.
He does, but I mean, all those dudes do. So I mean, he's trying to make it entertaining. He's trying to give players rights. So he's got a hard job because he's trying to actually make it beneficial for
Change
everybody.
The league, yeah. Because the NBA is the sports association where the players have the strongest voice, almost to a detriment of the game sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. So he's got a hard job. Like commissioner of that league isn't like your commissioner of the NFL.
No, they're like unilaterally deciding everything. This is how overtime at the Super Bowl will work.
So it's like
I don't care if you guys don't know the rules.
He's David Stern was a cool OG, but he was like his name said Stern, but he had a different game to commission. So Adam Silver is trying to take over this new media crazed league, so it's a lot to
how do you grow it since it's so entrenched in like everybody's daily lives and culture and memories? The best highlight was seeing which I guess this is where we're always going to be, was the man versus woman.
He won by
he won by 1, and a lot of people are saying he throttled himself because he was just Steffing out there like it. You know what I mean?
It's like no effort.
He's also like
very nice.
Take away the man and the woman thing. He's quite possibly the best shooter ever to play the game.
That's what everyone is saying.
So it's hard to be like you could put him up there against anyone. I don't think it matters.
Well, that's the thing. Kenny Smith was off that drink live because he was just going in. He's like, they should have let her shoot from her 3-point line. They should have let her have her ball. He's like, and then Reggie Miller's like, I thought you said shooters shoot, Kenny. And he's like, from where they shoot from.
Didn't she tie Dame?
Probably, but like Steph doesn't even enter the 3-point contest.
It's no point because it's like
he
probably won it like the first couple.
But that's why people are saying it was like he kind of throttled it because it was like he made it was like what are people going to say? If he kills her by 12.
If he keeps on smashing him and smashing. Yeah.
You know what?
Super Splash Brothers.
That's like what happened when the U.S. women's national soccer team was like talking crap about when they played against Wrexham. And then Wrexham beat him like 12-0. And it's like there's a point where you got to be pretty careful about.
So it's like we know Steph. He seems to be a very nice person, likes to do the right thing, at least publicly. So I think he went out there, just took it easy, but Just let him know.
Well, his
he's him.
easy is probably better than an all-star.
He's the guy. They showed how the game has changed from shooting from just 2009 to
It's
where we
like
are now.
very rarely do you shoot a 3-pointer. Only when you're wide open.
It was like
even
the
if you're like
three-point
throwing
shots
daggers.
were sparse, and everything was into paint.
Few and far between.
Everything was mid range. Now there's like no mid range.
It's all pick and roll. But now it's like pick and roll at the three. Yeah, I'm excited for next Friday. We got the game.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Next
I was
Friday.
like, winner.
Yeah.
Just came up like out of nowhere.
That's dope.
Can get that Westbrook bobblehead.
Got to get that bobble.
Have you seen the new stadium arena? Like how they're doing the seats and stuff and the view? It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. For the Inuit Dome?
Intuit.
Inuit
is the
Intuit.
indigenous tribes up north.
Well, maybe
It is.
Ooh, that would be cool. The Inuit Dome, and it had like
maybe it's a giant igloo.
ice themes.
Am I allowed to say
It's all
that?
sponsored by Knott's Berry Farm.
R.I.P. the Jam.
Oh yeah,
because they
stopped.
had the Indian side.
Oh yeah, the spirit.
Yeah, they had the
Spirit Lodge.
The
Spirit Lodge.
You tripping there?
You know,
Yeah.
you would go in
Kinda.
there.
They told
would,
a story, and it was like with the smoke and stuff, and and it was
it was dope.
I just remember the fake train robbery.
that was
That
dope
was
too,
dope
actually.
too. And then you could go and pan for gold on the other side. You could go panning.
Like for a kid, Knott's slapped. It was pretty cool.
It was way heavier than Disneyland because Disneyland as a kid was just like
It was cartoonish, whereas this is like this has got some.
And then they started
rough
sprinkling
edges.
in the
Roller coasters.
Well,
Well, they always
there's
have
only
Montezuma
two,
and Boomerang.
Yeah. Which were like
That-
the very first upside down roller coasters I went on.
That Ghost Rider goes hard though.
Yeah, it's so loud.
The doctor says you need a bachiatomy after that.
Yeah, no, Knott's is tight.
Those clicks when you're going up, it's just like violent.
Yeah, roller coasters are. What's your favorite roller coaster? From Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm, or Six Flags, or Universal?
I still haven't been. What's the Goliath? I don't think I've ever been.
You've never been on
and
Goliath?
I want to. Like I see
That one's
it
dope.
because like I went to
remember people were
Six
passing out when it
Flags
started.
I went to Six Flags like a few years ago, and like I've always been kind of scared of roller coasters, and I was like kind of shitting myself going on all of them, but then like I'm like I'm gonna pass
roller
out.
coasters?
But then I was
We
like
all
no.
went to Six Flags we were like early.
But then when I went, I was like, this shit's fun. It's like not scary. It's like exciting, but like still looking at that like Goliath going all the way.
because
up.
that was brand new. It was like bright orange.
Well, and they also
That
almost go
drop
completely like
straight down. And
But
then you
now
hit
they
the-
do have stuff that goes straight down.
Yeah, or backwards.
Or
Yeah, where it
inverts.
does the invert.
It
Yeah,
inverts,
yeah.
yeah.
X2
X2.
It's
That's
like
one of my
X4 or
favorites.
something now.
Is that like the spinning?
Well,
one
they
that
just keep
spins?
changing the name.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's the one that, They play Metallica, Inner Sandman, where you're going up backwards.
I feel like as a kid, the one that was the most exciting and probably like the most like impactful was Batman when it came out.
Ooh.
'Cause when Batman came out, you're like, wait, I'm just hanging. I'm just
Mine would be Riddler then.
or Riddler standing up. Yeah, that
Riddler's
was
Revenge.
yeah. Those ones were like at that time like mind blowing. I was like, I remember then doing like Superman, and once you did Superman once, you're like,
You don't got to do it
all
again.
right. Like it was
Yeah.
like that first like
It's like extreme scream.
Yeah,
Once you've done
yeah.
the drop once, you're good.
Viper was always cool because it's the corkscrew, but that thing
Ninja.
boxed my ears so much.
That's cool.
Box out.
Yeah, box out. Back to the All-Star game. So last week we were talking about tech and war and which one kind of pushes which one, or like how they come up together.
We did talk about that.
Yeah, it was last.
We argued a little bit about it.
Yeah, it was a little heated debate.
Sports.
So one of I got a magazine. This isn't a new topic, by the way, and I'm only saying that because we've learned from the past that when we speak about AI, there's a giant AI community that will tell us how dumb we are. We're not AI specialists at all, and this isn't new information. But I got this. I got a magazine.
Preface.
Yeah, preface. But I got a magazine over, and they had a topic on AI being used in war, specifically the Ukraine war. And it tied in with what we were talking about, how basically a lot of AI companies at the beginning of the Ukraine war went into Ukraine and was like, hey, we can, our technology can really help you out. We can really like be very, very helpful. And a lot of the money that was being funneled into it was the CIA has a capitalist arm scenario where the CIA basically funnels in the money that then goes into. So they basically paid for the AI companies to go over to get also greater payments from Ukraine industry. And it's nuts because it really makes sense. So like the main company that I was introduced to is called Palantir, Palantir. I might be saying it wrong. They got their name from Lord of the Rings, the ball that shows the future.
That Saruman had.
Yeah, that is it. But this dude who kind of looks like he could be both really sweet and also an evil, like he could go evil easily. He's got the look.
He's like evil Paul Gasol.
A little bit older.
Kind of looks like a hobbit.
He's got that little look.
Hobbit.
So he's the CEO. His name is Alex Karp. He went over to
Gandamir.
Looks like a fish.
Yeah. Oh my God, Magic Carp. He went over to Ukraine and was like, implement our stuff. It's going to change the way that you do war. Specifically, taking all of these like images and stuff like that, and it's basically cleaning up where humans have error. So like pinpointing where things should go when you attack. What is an actual hot spot that needs to be strike there? What's the best use? And then they tie a lot of the stuff into things that are already unmanned, like drones that are already out and about, or what do they call them? It's like something munitions.
Dumb, smart.
No,
munitions?
they're it's basically like kamikaze drones, drone like things that they like, and like smart missiles. And so basically, this is the first war that's ever been fought so far where it's like AI is actually fighting portion of the war. Just want to know your thoughts on that, and also how you feel. Does it change any bit of the conversation last week with knowing that the funding of the CIA went into this to go and then also be engaged into a war?
Well, it's interesting because it's like we're donating billions of dollars, and then we're also like getting funding private companies to get money from that, essentially the money that we're giving, which is not like a surprise at all. It's like Iran, Contra, same shit, kind of like backing one side. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
No, I still feel the same. Makes me even feel stronger about there being less empathy for certain actions when it comes to war.
Yeah, like in the sense of like when it's not a human pulling the trigger, but it's AI, it doesn't. I know that was greatly started in the Obama administration with the amount of drone strikes that were used.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I was just saying about like the people that are, when they're actually like a person somewhere flying
it. Yeah,
I'm just saying for them, they're not even in the same country. It can't feel the same as an infantry dude pulling the trigger on the front line. That's what I was trying to say. Maybe I did it in a roundabout way. But yeah, I just feel like we're detaching ourselves further and further and further away. There's always going to be infantry people, but maybe they're going to be implementing more of these drones and stuff, which just also is going to make more casualties. So
it's crazy because they're trying to come up with cute names for it. So like they call it hyper war or algorithmic war or mosaic war or software defined warfare. And I'm like, all of the names to make it not sound like it's killing
drone
people.
strikes.
Yeah, you're basically. And what's also wild is, so this company, specifically the Palantir one, it was saying how their software now is entwined in all of these other softwares to make it possible. It's not like the AI program works outside of the defense ministry.
No, because the engineer just has, as they work in micro groups. So it's like what this person does doesn't necessarily have to know what this person does, but they're working together. It's integral in helping out this person. You know what I mean? So it's
most AI, like even though they say it pulls from everything. It's not pulling from just one group of, just one category or anything like that.
It's crazy how we give the keys over to certain people so easily. It reminds me a lot of like a James Bond, like like bad guy. Like in one movie, this guy's the good guy. You bring in the AI guy, and he's the great guy. And then I'm not saying anything about
Boris.
him, but it's so easy. Then all the end.
Movies later,
Yeah,
he's
the next thing is
villain.
like, oh, you just gave him the keys to the whole system of the U.S., but also Ukraine. I mean, you just, and it's not like any of this has also, because it's so new. And one thing to say, there's no rules, laws, sanctions, nothing like that. It's just like it's kind of like the third. Was it the first wave of war was like gunpowder. Second one was nuclear, and it's like the third generation or the third age of warfare.
Well, if you look at that, because like Elon Musk with his Starlink is what makes a lot of the troop movements, coordination, and stuff in Ukraine possible, because they don't have service. So the satellite uplink and everything, like he could shut down their service so they can't do accurate or coordinated troop movements and stuff. So not that far off. I mean, what they're doing, it's interesting with, how the media was portraying the war in Ukraine. And yeah, like they were invaded by one sovereign nation was invaded by another. But, we were all like, oh, like, stand with the Ukraine type shit in the beginning. But the way that they said it, I think I saw Zelensky saying something about when this is all over, we want to make our country like Israel. We want it to be like, because you've seen reports of like there's a lot of like neo-Nazis in military political ranks over there, like the Azov battalion, huge far right wing thing, but that's part of the actual Ukrainian military, and they want to model themselves after Israel after this is all said and done. Like, so they're gonna, where they're still like the government is still sending like billions of dollars to Ukraine, like they're tying it up in whatever bills, but it's like that's very much downplayed in the media, where it's still like, oh, like these people are like nobody's I mean, there's civilians and stuff, but nobody's really, a nation itself isn't innocent in anything in any way.
Yeah.
Except for Palestine. Just kidding, but free Palestine for real.
Yeah, I think it's pretty I think one interesting thing for me about like this kind of stuff, specifically with military and technology, is like a couple episodes ago, we had a conversation about Social Security and our taxes being taken out on Social Security. And the conversation was around Nikki Haley saying like, to get the greatest amount of your Social Security benefits, you retire at 70. And like that was like a big stink for a small amount of tax dollars in comparison to the amount of tax money that's used knowingly in military budgeting. And like the call for like that being disgusting or bothersome is like so minute and small to me. It's just kind of like wild, like, because I think things get dressed up in such a way. It's like, oh, whether either you don't know how they use the money, which is to pay all of the people that work for the military complex, and also bombs and all the but technology too is being paid for on that. And it's like somehow none of that seems to be bothersome to people as much as at least what seemed to be bothersome about like, oh, they're gonna make it now they're taking our money for Social Security and we can't retire until 70. This is interesting.
No, it's just like what hill are you willing to die on? A lot of Israeli tech companies are using this war as like either profit, like a way to drive profit, selling technology, getting like, and it's like using it applications, experimenting, and they're tracking civilian movements with like GPS like bracelets that they're making Palestinians wear. So that's very
that's wild.
Kind of interesting, because I read an article where it's Israeli militaries are making, I think it was like a relatively small number, but it was like making these youths wear this tracking bracelet to make sure they don't go to this specific mosque during Ramadan.
Wow.
And it's like, I don't think they realize, or maybe they do realize the irony of making like identification stuff. Like,
it seems like it's missed the irony on that.
Well, it's with like it's Zionism, man. It's like blind to many things. It's like any sort of imperialism. You're kind of self-righteousness is trumps everything else.
Speaking,
and who's to say they're wrong?
well, some people. I mean, we say things are wrong every single day,
But there could be no validating factor, so that's where the war comes in. Because you could be right and I could be right, but we don't feel that we both can be right.
Yeah, I mean, I
Only one of us can be right.
I think also with war, there comes down to a lot too of like, what right actually means. Like for some person, being right might mean their survival and their livelihood. For another person, right might mean more land they now have and resources they might have. It's like how you spin right, you know, like what's right or wrong,
But
which is
the
so
people at the
subjective.
top,
You can't
Their
really.
decisions affect more people than someone at the bottom.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why their decisions matter more, which doesn't sound right to say, but it's the fact.
Oh, people at the top, their decisions always matter more. It's the whole idea about, you know, when you throw a rock into the lake where your ripple's touching. I don't have as big of a rock as,
That's what
say,
I'm saying. Like, as far as any of the wars going on right now, like, the nation could feel a certain way, but obviously that's not in alliance to.
Yeah, no, how you feel will not translate to elected officials.
It's nuts. One last thing on it, and then I want to use a term because you used one for a great sidewalk. If it works, what's crazy is most of the things that happen in war end up moving into businesses at some point. You know, like with the way that technology can be used, a lot of stuff will trickle down in certain ways. And like one of the things that the AI is, you know, are using is misinformation that has been used, but now deep faking it all. So it's like taking people's faces that are technically public resources and just using them to make this the deep fakes for spreading the information even more. And there's, you know, targeting the social campaigns where they can kind of insert these things more. It just makes me like really lean more towards the point of like, I don't think people will like fully understand how wild the future is going to be in terms of like how a lot of people like to use the term discern, but how do you discern anything when like you really can't tell if it's fake or real?
You got to believe in something. You got to have faith.
Okay,
That's
okay,
interesting
Fred
answer.
Durst. cool Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, no, it's going to be, it's obviously going to be, it's up to each and every.
I don't think you can have.
person.
I mean, I think faith is.
Faith is a blind thing. Like, it's not evidence based.
Well, I just think
That's
that's
why
also
you're going to need it, because when you have the reality giving you craziness, the only thing that's going to give you some kind of peace and sanity is faith and something better.
Yeah, but that's not
faith and
necessarily
religion
that's
and-
not necessarily what I was saying. I was just saying, like in general, you know, whether or not you have faith in God won't change the fact that you have no idea if anything that you're seeing is real or fake. It doesn't really change it. Like unless God's coming down to you and being like, "Hello, son, let me wear these glasses. These are God glasses," and you'll see everything that's real.
Well, it's like that AI news network that's going to like compile like bits or skits or whatever using kind of like dramatizations of events that weren't captured on films, and then that could just be disseminated as you know.
But I mean, I get your Sean's statement, but it's always the youth don't see that because they're born into it. So it's always the older generation that's going to have the sentiment of, you know, how wild the future is going to be. You know,
I mean,
how
I think the
our
youth
grandparents- No, our grandparents said the same thing. Our parents said the same thing. We're gonna say these kids.
Everybody's always going
yeah,
to be
but
saying
how young do you label the youth? Because man,
I'm saying unborn. They don't like what unborn right now. So when a kid's born tomorrow,
embryos.
this is their reality. They don't know. It's not fast. It's not slow. It is.
It is.
yeah, but you're going under the idea that like your body, your nervous system, the way that the brain and the whole system has matured and evolved for literally like, thousands, millions of years, is just going to instantly be able to adhere to that. And
what do you mean? No, I'm saying
it's going to be crazy because you're going to be putting a lot more things. There's a lot more stuff now than there was in the past to cause internal dissonance in a person's life. And you're adding more and more and more and more.
I get what
that.
you're saying, but I'm saying what is like how much of an exponential difference is that what you're saying than say when the television was invented, or say when
a lot, because it's the amount
car was invented,
a lot,
or
you take it, it's about the amount of variables that one's taking in. A car is a big deal, or a TV is a big deal, but I mean, TV, when it came out, there was literally like huge gaps of time when there was nothing at all on TV.
But that's what I'm saying. With the invention of that, now or just say a plane, people didn't think it was possible to get over to some places in a timely manner.
But that's not I'm talking about ingesting information. I'm not talking about being able to brush your teeth without moving your hand because there's now an electronic toothbrush. I'm saying that the future is wild in the terms of the way that you take in, or the way that we've learned to take in information, media, reading, listening, videos a lot, especially in our generation, the past generations of TV and stuff. There was this idea of like you see something and it's there, and so your brain computes it as, okay, it's a real thing. You hear somebody's voice that your mom calls you up and you hear her voice near your side. You're not thinking like, is this my real mom or is this an AI talking about it? Is this person real? Those things is what I'm saying is like, there's a lot more variables that'll be coming into people's lives that you just are like, it's totally possible that none of this is real.
I mean, I feel like that's always been the case though.
I feel like
I'm not sure. I didn't follow that.
There's always more
I feel like
variables coming
I feel like
in.
you reduce things without really trying hard to get into the conversation. I mean, we don't have much time today, but like, there's statistically, like, there's not like there's way more variables now than there was before. You can't. I mean, it's like literally. I mean, you could say not, and that's your take.
Well,
I
guess the difference between like say a TV, a plane, and whatever.
But the plane
it's like it's all. Well, yeah, it's all you're seeing something. It's like a steady.
Just say the internet.
It's exponential growth, but it's like and from having the internet to not having the internet, like the generation of not having before, which was us, and then we have like dial-up versus like somebody who's born into like your kids raised on iPads. They have access from the moment that they're like self-aware enough to like know how to navigate this like user interface, to taking tests on computers, learning on computers like Zoom and everything, like where a lot of their interaction is done not face to face, but digitally. It is changing. Not like, our biology is not keeping up with technology.
I mean,
and it's adapting though. Not saying it's positive or negative, but it's like the brain chemistry is being altered with each generation. Obviously, with like exposure and stuff, but like I feel like it's not predictable of like how we're going to be able to deal with it.
I mean, you take Sora, for instance, the OpenAI edition that came out, and I'm sure it's probably not necessarily new, but, being able to create video just by putting information in. Like right now, if you're privy to AI and you have the access, you can make a completely fake person that interacts with the world, and that person could have a voice, have video, have photos. It can do everything and it'd be completely fake. That's brand new. We've never had the ability to do all that. If somebody was making a fake personality, there was a person behind it making it. You couldn't do videos or photos unless you had
it from the perspective like of looking back to say it now, because at that time, if you were making a fake
I'm looking at
persona,
it,
all you would have to do is write up an article.
No, I'm looking at it in the sense where there's an amount of things now that can be taken in as fake, and it's going to be more and more and more. That's what I'm saying.
But I feel like that. I get what you're saying, but I feel like the growth is exponentially almost been the same.
How do you
in the sense
how
of
do you
society.
base this off of? Like, what brings you to that?
Because like I'm saying, internet, that was a huge leap for the generation that didn't have internet. Now
Yeah,
you
but
can,
there's
like,
nothing about. I'm not talking about technology. I'm talking specifically about falsities and falsehoods. You keep on going back to like.
but the technology is
inventions.
what making the falsehoods. Without the AI, how do you get the falsehood? It's not showing you something that is just all of a sudden in front of your face.
No, it can.
How? You have to be looking at a computer or some kind of technology. It's not going to make a reality right now in front of you.
It could literally write a book and have it printed out under a fake name.
And I'm saying we've always been able to do that.
No, a person had to create all of that.
Well, I think a lot of the stuff now, like, because there are like completely fictional or whatever you say, like brand ambassadors, or people use like AI models, completely computer generated, but everything's still by a prompt. There's still like a human behind it. I think that there's probably stuff that kind of like where it has a set of inputs that it's operating within these parameters, but I don't know if there's like,
I mean,
I guess that's like a sentient
when
thing,
I'm
or-
modeling an audio voice, there's no prompt when it's picking up the phone and talking to you. It's built in. You think you're talking to a real person. You're not. There's absolutely no prompt.
like
There's nobody on the other side saying, "Oh, he said this. Now you say this."
No,
"Oh,
it
he
was
said this."
created with prompts, and it's like trained and stuff.
But,
Yeah,
But the way it's acting with you is there's nobody behind it. There's no scenario like.
It's kind of like a video game, the way I think of it.
Except for a video. Okay, never mind. Let's go into something else.
No, I get what, like it doesn't. To me, it doesn't have that yet. To where, and I guess when it does get there, we'd probably have so much of AR already to where that wouldn't necessarily be a huge jump when that does happen.
well, I think it is a jump, but it's like you won't notice.
That's what I'm saying, because right now the big jump is just AI, because we haven't necessarily had, what is it, quantum computing? I don't know what it necessarily does, but
Well, the stuff that he's talking about, it's like out now, like Google with the latest phones and stuff. The Android, like it's all integrated in, like it's seamless, and you don't know. Like the stuff Sean's working on is like customer service without knowing that you're talking to like a bot.
no,
Basically.
I get all that. It's just, to me, still the visual things, like it can't illustrate something in front of me right now without me having some piece of technology to do it. Like,
But everyone's tied into technology. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I guess what's to say what in front of you is about as real as what you see on your phone, and I think like everybody probably is on that same page of like they'll believe as much as what they see on their phone as with what they see in front of them. Like there's almost no differentiation now.
you're right. We're probably losing. That's what you were saying.
The lines
too.
are pretty blurry.
Yeah, they're getting more blurry. But I'm saying like, yeah, I get it. But it's always been, technological advances, modern marvels, something that's the world never thought, and it's going to change everything. And to me, it's AI. That was a boat. That was a plane. That was mathematics. Like these things always and forever will be.
yeah, I just don't see how those things make you question what's real. I don't see how a boat or a plane or mathematics make you question.
Well, I mean, I
what's
still see a
real.
plane, and I'm like, that shouldn't be up there. That's a big piece of metal.
I mean, it's just science.
What is science?
The
Planes?
the questioning of what's real.
Mathematics.
Well, okay, so this is moving on, but you said this last week, and for a topic is consensual non-monogamy. Is that the same as like ethical non-monogamy, like
Yeah.
ENM? Okay, because like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
consensual thing, I've never heard that part of it before. So it's like ethical non-monogamy, but which is different than polyamory. It's essentially is like ENM, ethical non-monogamy. That's an open relationship. Mm-hmm. What did you want to talk about that?
Oh, I was reading this piece, and it was saying how in the United States, ethical non-monogamy is having a bit of a moment. It's getting some love. 31% of American singles have experienced or like a consensual non-monogamy. in the relationships. And this was like a study that was recently just done. I mean, 2023. But 49% of American singles say that they still value traditional sexual monogamy as their ideal sexual relationship. But the point the paper was making was monogamy came to be about when we became a farm culture, not we as in Americans. I mean, like as in human race.
You need labor.
Yeah. Well, farm culture, when that happened, it was labor, but also in those times, farm culture required land. Land was given to men. Women weren't given land. So they were pushed into a scenario where women had to marry. Whereas prior to that, in hunter-gatherer times, most recorded history will say, like in hunter-gatherers, there was non-monogamy because both men and women were hunting and gathering. It was just equal parts. Everything was equal parts. There wasn't somebody that had more or less of power in the area. And so now we've gone much further away from, of course, farming culture. And so you see more ethical non-monogamy. And the specialists, I mean, of course, it's a specialist, so they're always going to tote up their own idea. But was just saying that it's actually more of a surprise that we go into marriages so often when it's so counter to basically how humans like really need to or try to function in their day to day. So I don't know I have way more stats, but I guess I'm just curious for you guys, like what makes it, would you be open to consensual monogamy or not? And if not, what makes you lean towards the more old school?
Well, what's surprising about that, you said 31%, is like, I'm curious, like, I don't think that's committed relationship. That sounds like people, that could be just labeled like people are dating and they're not, like in like a committed thing. Cause like, I feel like it's how you view dating is like, some people will date like just one person at a time. Mm-hmm. And then there's people who are like dating around and stuff. Like that was like what I was doing for the first time like ever. And I was dating like multiple people and I was like open about it. I feel like that could be viewed as
totally
like non-monogamy. Mm-hmm. Cause like, I feel like I was very traditional in my initial viewpoint when I started dating. I was like, oh, I kind of feel bad to like, I'm not sleeping with them, but I'm like, oh, I'm dating more than one person at once. But it's like, I don't want to, you spend all this time on one person and then you're like, yeah, I'm not really into it. It's like, why kind of just focus on one person, give them all your energy rather than like, okay, I can manage this. It's all casual right now. And it's not like sexual. It's just like getting to know someone. It's like, why would you spend so much time? But I'm guessing you mean like a more committed, like,
well, I mean, consensual portion, like, whether you're in a committed relationship or not, it's both parties knowing, and mm-hmm. being on the same page and being okay with it and having, a lot of times it's setting the right kind of boundaries that both person are asking for in that. So it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're in like a long-term relationship, though these are also portions of being people in long-term relationships. Now I'm not a specialist in this at all whatsoever. So I know like that's where like polyamory and kink are different scenarios than what consensual non-monogamy is. And I don't have a very clear explanation to say what's the difference on them. So I don't want to like speak out of terms on that. But I think something that you were saying, and you might agree, is so like part of the things was that the people who've engaged in non-monogamy, they said that it made them have a better understanding of what they do and don't want and need in a relationship. That they got that from consensual non-monogamy or being able to be with multiple people rather than being with one. And it also made them more emotionally mature. Do you think that was your experience?
Well, I think an element of I feel like it is like kind of silly because it's like, for me, it's not like ethical or consensual. It's like you're either monogamous or you're non-monogamous, Mm-hmm. Like I feel like it's putting the extra label on it, but that's here nor there. But I feel like an element of non-monogamy that is probably not as prevalent in other in normal monogamous relationships is you have to have the ability to communicate a lot more effectively, whether it's your boundaries, what you want, what you don't want, what you're seeking in a partner. I feel like that is more essential rather than things can maybe be assumed one way or another in a more traditional relationship. For me, I always had like a view of non-monogamy, like maybe I was definitely more uninformed and biased against it before, but Marlene has a lot of friends that are, maybe not a lot, but has a few friends that are in non-monogamous relationships, and they're great. I love hanging out with them. I learn a lot from like their dynamics, just seeing how they communicate. For me myself, like I feel like it's a lot of effort to just be in a monogamous relationship. So I feel like having to establish new boundaries or something, or trying to do something new. I can't say that for like later, but for now, like that's already a lot of effort to date just one person. So dating multiple, like even when I was like not in a long-term relationship, dating multiple people at once, it's exhausting. But I know it depends on the relationship. So it's like if you're just trying to be in a relationship with one person but you are like hanging out, sleeping around, whatever, your conditions might be with your relationship. I know it's different for everyone, so I don't know. It's really individual basis.
I think they call it consensual non-monogamy because if it's not, you're just cheating.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's like you're not monogamous, you're monogamous, or you're cheating.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah. I think that's why
Specifying.
they use, that's
like
why they use the consensual
that
term.
consensual and ethical kind of like interchangeable.
I get what you're saying, because to me that's just dating.
Yeah, but like a lot of people, and I think when I was like years before, when I would date just one person at a time.
Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
that's why I said dating, because normally if you're dating someone, that's not necessarily saying that that's my partner.
Because it is like, even if it's a short term or you just like a couple dates, that's still a relationship regardless, I think. But it's just casual. It's just like, short term. Mm-hmm. What about you, Trey? What do you think?
To be honest, I think people just need to be more confident in what they want to do and stop seeking so much validation from other people. Because honestly, like if you want to do something, do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Well, that kind of just requires better communication, isn't it? Like be clear.
No, but maybe that's what we were talking about earlier. Just too much consumption of stuff going on. I feel like people are overstimulated with stuff. So I'm not a good person to necessarily have this conversation with, because to me, I guess I would be more traditional in the sense, but I don't have any problems with anyone doing anything else that they want to do. It's just when, say, like a group tries to label it as something, as if the nation is doing it, to where I get opposed on. If you want to do something, do it. I don't care. But consensual non-monogamy, that just sounds like you're dating to me.
I mean, people do it in relationships. Like it's like married couples do it.
Yeah, like that. It's not just like dating, but
in that scenario, that sounds like an open relationship to me.
Well, it is a type of open relationship.
Yeah.
But there's different, like.
Yeah, like, because there's like some where it could be like, like there could be kink involved. And it's like, and it's might not even be like having necessarily like sex with someone else, but it could be a kink that is with other people, not within.
Or finance kink, or.
Yeah,
there's a lot of different.
Holds all to me. That falls under open relationship. If I were in a relationship with someone, so that still doesn't fall under. I mean, yes, if we're going to be PC about everything, okay, consensual monogamy, but that's just an open relationship.
But I mean, like, do you think you would be interested or capable?
No, I say I'm not opposed to. I mean, personally, I probably wouldn't do it, but I don't have any problems with it, or I don't see a lifetime, hardship if you're doing that kind of. To each his own, bro. Run it up.
Why is it PC to say ethical or to say consensus non-monogamy?
Because to me, that's what I'm saying. I'd say you're either dating, and that would be the consensual non-monogamy, or if you were in a relationship, to me, I wouldn't say consensual non-monogamy. I would say we're in a open relationship, which could mean a lot of different things. Right?
Yeah, but it didn't answer my question. Why is consensual non-monogamy?
Because it sounds like PC of saying open relationship. Like
No,
we're
it's-
almost not trying to say just like what it is.
I think it's being more clear. I think you're saying your open relationship is very vague. It's not really giving anybody information. If I'm trying to tell somebody more about my relationship, consensual non-monogamy gives more information than just open relationship does. I mean, it's kind of like
to
saying
me, it gives me like less. To me, an open relationship, obviously we're not getting information, but to me saying open relationship alludes a lot more things to me than saying consensual non-monogamy. That's so random.
Well, because like we were saying, like open relationship is like any number of things, but
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. Consensual non-monogamy, I don't know what that means. It could also mean a plethora of things. Right?
I mean, I think it's kind of straightforward. We know what consensual means and we know what non-monogamy means. And so you put them together and you're like, oh, it's two people coming together to consent together on non-monogamy actions within a relationship. Open relationship doesn't, I think is a lot more broad. But I mean, it's a broad stroke. I guess it's like saying that all motorcycles are the same.
yeah, they're kind of like,
yeah.
I guess for me is like not being anything like personally familiar, but like knowing more about it. I feel like they are both broad strokes for me, I guess.
You think consensual non-monogamy is a broad stroke too?
Well, like, because like I said, like each person has their boundaries and what, like, whether you're in an open relationship or a consensual non-monogamous relationship, there are different conditions and boundaries and variables that are within each relationship. So I can't really assume, like,
I feel like
besides
consensual non-monogamy is pretty straightforward. To be consensual is two people saying that they consent to it.
yeah, but it could be like both are non-monogamous. One person is fine with their one partner, and one partner dates. Like, I feel like there are a number of variables,
But that's
but that's still different. Like, it's not the
same.
same.
It is the same. It's
To me, it's the same as an open relationship, though, because if you say you're in an open relationship, it's the same as where other shit's going on. That's consensual non-monogamy, right?
I mean, some people say they're in an open relationship and the other person has no idea.
It could be the same for consensual. Oh, I guess it couldn't be because it's consensual. You're right.
Well, then it's like also
But
it's
that
like,
wouldn't be an open relationship then in my definition.
well, because then like
Because you'd be lying to somebody. You're cheating.
But
you're
I
not
mean-
in an open relationship. You're cheating.
I think okay. I mean, I think that's where the term open relationship is misused. I think a lot of people, it's
well,
like,
then that's just like lying, kind of like.
That's what I'm saying.
one
If
thing.
you're saying you're in an open relationship and you're cheating on your partner, that's
just cheating.
on your partner.
I mean, regardless.
You were saying you're in an open relationship in your head, but you're not telling your partner that you're in an open relationship.
yeah.
So, to me, to be in an open relationship, you have to consensually be non-monogamous.
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, that's my definition of open relationship. An open relationship, to me, it's two people are knowing what's going on. You don't both have to be doing it, but you both know what's going on. And that's exactly what consensual non-monogamy would.
I guess it's also because it's also like, two people can be dating
Two other
a
people.
third
Yeah,
person,
yeah.
or one person could be dating different people, or they could be sleeping around, because then it gets into polyamory, and then like, I guess that's where it is, because it's like, okay, like you're dating, and then it's any number of things, and that's why I feel like it's every.
specific.
Like, yeah, I can't fit any definition, because like we talk about everything as a spectrum, and then it goes on from there. It's like, yeah, open relationships, that's huge. Ethical non-monogamy, that's huge. Like, there's any number of things that can go on from there.
Monogamy, I guess, could be huge.
I feel like monogamy is pretty straightforward. Monogamy, it's like
You're
together. It's committed single partner relationship. I feel like that is like a very
Yeah.
broad, it's broad, but it's all encompassing. Versus
Yeah,
like,
because
whereas,
technically, that's right. Because I guess to be monogamous, that's a pretty straightforward.
because like, and then if you have like other things within it, like,
Because to
but
be
it's-
non-monogamous, I guess that has more spectrum. Are you physically, emotionally? There's a lot of different.
yeah, because people need. you need different things from different people, like some people do, and so it's like maybe you, but then you're just in a non-monogamous relationship if you're seeking something from somebody.
No, but that's what I'm
outside of
saying.
their-
Monogamy is kind of just like,
Yeah.
it is like pretty straightforward.
I mean, I've definitely like became more empathetic to it. Like I don't think I'm, maybe a little bit, but I'm definitely like way less biased against it. I'm like, oh, I actually just understand it now. I understand it. And like
Monogamy?
yeah, non-monogamy.
No, oh.
Because I was like, oh, like you just
Super
want
adverse
you just
before.
want to have like your cake and eat it too. But then I get like it's more about nuances and stuff like that, and own personal needs and just like understanding and being empathetic with what other people want or need from their relationship. And it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
Get it.
I think monogamy is crazy. I just think that we don't label it. We were just sneaky. People think, when they think monogamy, all they do is think about sex. And for men, it's like an ownership thing. Like, my bitch ain't gonna be fucked by another dude. Like, it's just like,
Well, that's what I was like, emotional. There's like,
but in general, name a man out there that doesn't have a guy best friend. And that's an emotional thing. That's
Exactly,
an emotional
and
thing that
that's-
your woman can't do for you, and that's the reason why you have him. So it's like technically, so people go around thinking like that they're monogamous. It's like you're not. You're just thinking really a whole bunch about sex. And when you understand that non-monogamy is saying, hey, I'm going to have relationships that I already do have.
but then it's misleading because the nation doesn't look at that word that way.
Why is that misleading?
Our nation doesn't look at the word monogamy then, I guess, in its true definition. So then it's misleading to say consensual non-monogamy and then be like, well, you don't understand. Like, well, the nation understands it to be, and I know it could be totally wrong and it could not be the definition, but
I mean, I think our perspectives are also tainted. It's like a patriarchal Christian nation, so there's like all the baggage that comes with that. So, I mean, it's like definitely, like you were saying, it's having a moment. People are, I think it's a lot more in the big cities, us coastal elites out here trying to like,
I don't know,
break the
man.
molds and
Utah's been
things.
doing polyamory forever.
for a long time.
Like,
Oh,
and
but that's
also like
that's
in
a little
the,
different.
But
though.
they believe it to
that's
be,
polygamy.
but there's also in the South. I mean, like,
but
you
they
got,
believe
like,
it. I mean, the South is different than,
I'm just saying, like, it's not
well,
necessarily.
some people do it based off of faith, though, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's a little different
Yeah.
conversation than what we are having, right?
yeah,
well,
I think
it's-
our
it's
view
the
is like
same
a certain
conversation.
It's
kind
still
of,
the same. There's something in you that's
Yeah,
leading
that's
you to
leading
do
you
it.
to do it.
So it's not like, I mean, is it a good reason or bad?
God,
That's up
God,
to you.
God is leading me to do it.
Yeah. But,
You know, I guess it is just where we are. We are a melting pot, and we don't all think the same. And I guess that's where we are. Just, you know, some people believe one thing really a lot. Some people believe one thing really a lot. So it's just like, and I get it. You need the middle ground because you can't be like, you're wrong or you're wrong. And we should
Yeah.
all be accepting. And I do get it. It's hard to be accepting of something that you're not conditioned to.
Well, I
to
guess too, like if
understand.
you're looking at polyamory and looking at a place like Utah, polygamy is with like a man with several wives. Women cannot have several husbands.
correct.
Correct.
So I mean, that's not. I think it's in the same like
But
direction, but it's not the same thing as like what we're talking about now.
I mean,
Because I
it's-
think this is like
Not equal.
not
You're
having to
thinking
do
of it being
nothing
equal.
faith based. Like I think is what we're specifically
That's what,
talking
yeah,
about.
but
now.
nobody I see how you're saying too, because it's not equal.
well, but isn't it faith based for a lot of people
Yeah.
that they're monogamous?
Yeah.
So how can you not talk about faith in this conversation?
I mean, I think you could be like monogamous, like
You know, I don't know if it's faith based.
I mean,
would say
we
it's
were-
rooted
like I
in
mean,
it,
like not in
but
religion,
I
but
don't
like
know if
people don't have
that
to get.
stayed married are religious.
no, but I mean, like,
That's what I'm saying. Root. It is
The
root.
root
based, yeah.
is-
The root. It is root based.
Well, yeah, getting married and stuff. It's like a Christian thing,
Yeah.
but I mean, like I think in this day and age, like people aren't getting married at a church and having a thing. Like, I mean, I guess if I say like Mill and Neil, like married at City Hall, and
It depends. It's
not religious by any stretch, but
It really depends on how.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
a
what
domestic
you believe, kind of,
partnership.
is
Why do
really
you-
what it comes to.
why do you think people get married?
That's the kicker. I
They
don't know.
feel the need to. Like, I think,
it's conditioning.
It is, yeah.
Some conditioning. It's some FOMO. I think it's we don't want to be looked at as an outsider, so subconsciously you just kind of do things that the masses do. These are all things that, you know, I feel like why it's been conditioned to be, a certain way. And I feel like right now, because the influx of information is what you're saying with AI and stuff, people are having like right now America, and I feel like almost not even America, just the world, because of the information influx, is in like their teenage years again. Like it's the angst. Like everyone's looking for answers, looking for reasons, looking for anything to make sense to them, to latch on to define their life.
But I didn't get what you're saying at first, but I think now I can kind of think about it for a second. It's like I see a lot of people like boomers specifically that are kind of questioning the values that they were raised with. Like we were kind of like us Gen X were kind of like also didn't have complete faith in like the whole structure of everything and processes from the beginning, whereas like they had kind of like faith in government, like of like how everything worked, like everything was in their best interest, but like they're like
the first breaking point, and
this isn't like this isn't how it is. So like I think it could be misguided, but they're questioning like the sanctity of marriage or whatever, or economy, government, whatever, and it's just kind of like that's how.
I just feel, to me, I just, because I can't put it into better words than me just saying, I know what it felt like to be a teenager and to be at odds with everything, and I feel like that's kind of where the shared reality is of the world. It's like everything is kind of just like everyone's looking for something desperately to grab onto, not necessarily to be a messiah, just I need something to believe.
Yeah.
Do you think Jesus would come back as a human? Because there's been
probably
because there was a shark woman who there's a female shark who gave birth to, and there was also like a manta ray that gave birth.
If Jesus ever came, he probably wasn't a man. That's just a story they had to tell.
I feel like he would come back as an E girl or an E.
Right now,
person.
he's come back as a DJ. I know he couldn't. I'm just joking.
I mean,
I don't know. Like, I'm just like,
I feel like if Jesus came back,
what would
he would be
Jesus?
He'd be crucified again.
He'd get killed. He'd be homeless.
In the book, they told you that they killed him too.
He would, like, I mean, like, he wouldn't even.
There were people out there fucking with him too.
Like, he would have been bombed by Israel.
Fact.
Like,
I mean, he was an Arab.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you believe it, the book did tell you
Messiah.
too that and that's why they.
Clack
So
clack.
there is
So
Ancient clack clack with spears, I guess.
yeah.
It's the same shit. He could come back. They're gonna murk him again.
Open relationship is you're free to have sex with other people, but stay emotionally committed to only one primary partner. Polyamory or polyamorous relationships.
No emotional.
You're committed to loving multiple partners equally.
Got it.
Yeah, see, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah, I don't think that's a lot.
But that's why the poly.
But I
that
think,
seems a lot.
I should have talked about this first, actually.
I just kind of, I know because we have to wrap up, but I just kind of wonder, like, if our generation, I'm wondering, like, if, we see more people, divorce rate for people 65 and up is greatest.
Through the roof.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest things. In this scenario, we have divorces, people that definitely that thought multiple divorces, and stuff like that, and then there are people that are married and stuff like that. But like, we also have a generation where people are having kids later, getting married later,
Not having kids,
and not having kids, and not getting married, right? And I just kind of wonder, like,
what things look like.
Well, is open relationship the way that you grow into being old and not feel lonely? The more people do that,
But
in
that's
that way.
what elders are doing right now. They're just, I mean, you got to think of it. My mom, she'll never get married again, but she's got a person.
Yeah. But that's what I'm, but she probably didn't see him every day.
No, they have their own houses.
Which sounds so beautiful.
But it's like,
I think that's
like
that's
we are privy to be able to see a generation before and after us.
Yeah.
And we're getting to a weirder normal. It's just the normal is going to look different than what our grandparents' normal was.
Yeah. Well, there's always a normal. It just changes.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
it's
I guess
kind of the same thing I was saying, I guess, earlier about the tech.
It is.
We're questioning like what normal is and like why was normal. Why was it considered normal?
That's why I knew. That's why I wasn't even gonna get into it, because I was like, we're saying the same thing, but just on two different.
Do you think you'll get
sides.
married?
I would like to. The head says I would like to.
But the dick says...
Well, no, but then my head also says I don't have to be married to have a happy existence with someone else.
Totally.
A family, kids,
100%.
like you can still have all of that without...
You know
but
what I mean?
like
Yeah.
marriage, I think now it's like a tax thing is like a very...
It's always been a
it's
business.
But you can get that same exact tax thing and not get married.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
domestic
you can be
partnership.
domestic
you have to, like,
partner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can get that. But
Yeah.
No, that's where we're getting to. Like, yeah, so it's just... That's why I say we all want to just be a part of something, and I guess, you know, terms are changing, things are changing, and it's more rapid in the sense of we're more connected and stuff like that. But I mean, if people just be able to really look inside, which is tough, I know, and just be like, this is who I am, this is who I am, this is who I'm going to be.
yeah,
It'd be a little better.
maybe. I do.
You're right.
Yeah, maybe.
I do.
Maybe.
It's for a different conversation we'll have later. But I do hope we in the future come back to what you were saying about labeling and terms, because I do agree with you on that piece. That there's a shit ton of terms out there that make it way too easy for people to grab onto something and say that they're this thing, and that's good for identification. At the same time, it really depends on what you're identifying to and how you're identifying to it. Which is all subjective as well, but like I hope we get back, because there's a lot of that in the...
Stick a pin in it.
There's a lot of that in the current like health field.
Well, because we want to talk about like
crazy
masculinity, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that could be like kind of tied in.
Yeah,
to
we
all
can
that.
easily do that. We have to wrap it up.
Gotta go.
Quick fire
Move on
round.
to,
Quick fire round. Trump shoes.
Terrible. He only made him to get the black vote.
and get a bag because he's got to pay restitution to.
Yep, terrible
Eugene
shoes,
Gray.
ugly. What do you think?
They look like, oh man, it's just like a template.
This is terrible.
I mean, like that tee almost looks like it just looks like a Telfar, like ripping off the
Yeah.
logo and removing some stuff. So it's garbage. Yeah.
I thought it was the first time I saw it. I was sideways a little bit. I was like, dude, did they just get these? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like they got a template,
God
just put
awful.
a T on it,
God
put the
awful.
American flag on it and shit.
BuzzFeed Complex sold, acquired. It happened.
Who'd they sell them to?
I didn't read, but it was only worth 108 million.
I thought it was worth way more than that. With like they have a convention and stuff, but
No, so they held Complex BuzzFeed is holding their biggest asset, which is First We Feast, which does the hot ones. So anything.
they're keeping that?
Anything under the First We Feast umbrella, which may even be Action Show.
They probably.
he's. I don't think he's
Fuck,
on that.
that's
anymore.
delicious.
I don't
think they do it anymore.
It's his
Okay.
own thing now.
It's something.
Because that was Vice.
It was.
I don't know if
You're right,
Vice
you're right.
sold it to somebody else.
But yeah, so no, they kept. But they're keeping hot ones. But other than that, they sold their.
I mean,
I know that's all they're.
you can't get rid of hot ones. If you have that.
Or you just buy hot ones.
Or you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
buy
Don't buy
hot
Complex,
ones.
just
buy
It's
hot
became
ones.
it's became a cultural staple for sure.
I mean, I saw.
He's
who
still
was
such
on?
a nerd. It's pretty funny. It's
John
cool.
Oliver was on that. That
Yeah,
was a pretty good
I didn't
one.
see that one.
But he does what he's supposed to. He's a journalist.
He's great. I
does
mean,
his
the
job
questions.
well?
Yeah,
I still like how he like comes up with questions that are like,
That's
oh fuck.
why
you're just
he's
digging
been
into
able to
I love
do
it.
it
He's
for
like-
so long.
Well, he's got a good team too. He's not just him.
No, of course, but he also
team.
took the job of journalism seriously.
yeah. Him and Ardwar.
Nardwar.
Sorry, Nardwar. I'm like Nardwar. How do you even?
He's the subservient servant.
Yeah, he knows stuff. I love it when he catches someone because they're like, "Yo,
How'd you know
how
that?
did you know that?"
That sounds some Nardwar
There's only
shit.
two people. There's only two people in the room, and you were not one of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Other than that, no,
No guy
I think we
knows.
got through.
Yeah. Anything like what do you listen to real quick? Or
I'm really stoked on the new Schoolboy Q. The new music been putting out super hard. I'm loving
what's
it.
it called? Fur.
He
That
put
single?
out, the single was called I can't even remember, like
great video.
Urna
You're
or something like that. But then he put out two other songs, and he directed, I think, all three of the music videos, and they're great. I can't wait for this project. Smino put out a new song. Great.
that's a great song. I think either you or I put it on the
It was one of us, yeah. And then that's what I've been listening to. Watching the Vince Staples show. You guys got to check it out.
Vince Staples, great show.
And it's Black History Month, so just learn up on
Yeah,
all
don't
your
disrespect him.
Black inventors and stuff like that. So
Don't disrespect.
watch
him.
Vince Staples. It's a great show. Super good.
Mavis Staples typing. Audrey Nuna got a song with Tizo Touchdown, really
Saw
good.
that.
Yeah, Smino. Can't wait for the album. Schoolboy Q. All my singer-songwriter stuff going down. Check out the playlist. We got to figure out how to put that on the
I know
on the actual.
It's super
feed.
simple. We just probably got to actually
Just got to look for like
log
the
on
logins.
to her, yeah.
Sean, what you got?
Nothing.
All right, wrapping that up. We'll do the regular shout out. You guys, thank you for all your likes, comments, and subscriptions. Appreciate it. You can catch us at Almost Never Pod on any of the social platforms. YouTube,
We are
Instagram,
all the way
TikTok.
up to date.
We're up to date on the DSPs. Thank you, Trey. Thank you, Sean. Catch us on. Okay, well, still, I love you. So
But you're
thank
welcome.
You. Catch us on Apple and Spotify and everything else you listen to your podcast platforms on.
Sheesh. We appreciate it. Love you guys.
Thank you guys. See you next week.